This might be the most important shift in Tesla's FSD so far. It's no longer just getting better at driving, it's starting to think. And if that trend continues, it changes the entire long-term story for Tesla investors. Good morning, this is Ken. Today, I'm not going to talk about the stock price first. Instead, we're going inside Tesla, what's actually changing under the hood. Because if you only watch the chart, you're missing the real signal. In this video, I'll break down what's happening with FSD v14.3, Tesla's AI architecture shift, the Terafab chip project, and even how energy infrastructure is quietly being replaced. And more importantly, what all of this means for the future of Tesla as an investment. Let's start with the first update. Tesla has released FSD version 14.3, and this is not just another incremental improvement. If I had to summarize it in one line, it's this. FSD is evolving from execution to decision-making. Until now, most of the focus has been on precision, staying in lane, avoiding mistakes, reacting correctly, basically how well the system performs tasks. But with V14.3, something deeper is changing. We're starting to see improvements in when the car decides to change lanes, how it selects routes, and how it balances risk versus safety. These are not just driving skills, these are judgment calls, and that's a big deal. Early reviews are already pointing this out. People are saying the driving feels more natural, more human-like, less robotic. Now, that might sound like a small detail, but from an investor perspective, this is critical because autonomy doesn't scale just by being accurate. It scales when people trust it, and human-like behavior is what builds that trust. If Tesla can make FSD feel intuitive, not just correct, that's when adoption really starts to accelerate. And that's when Robotaxi starts becoming a real business, not just a concept. But let's be clear, it's not perfect. There are still judgment errors. Sometimes the system is overly cautious and performance can vary between versions. So where we are right now is this. FSD is getting smarter, but it's not yet consistent. And this is where a lot of investors get confused because they expect a straight line of improvement. That's not how AI works. Here's the key insight. This update is not about making the car drive better. It's about teaching the system how to think. And once you understand that, you start to see a much bigger shift happening behind the scenes. Tesla has also rebuilt part of its AI foundation using something called MLIR. Now, without getting too technical, think of this as redesigning how the AI brain operates internally. And this matters a lot more than it sounds, because AI performance is not just about the model itself, it's about how efficiently that model runs. With this change, Tesla is seeing around a 20% improvement in response speed. But this is not just about speed. Faster response means quicker hazard detection, better timing and decision making, and ultimately higher safety margins. But here's the part most people are missing. This change doesn't just improve performance once, it increases the speed at which Tesla can improve going forward. In other words, Tesla is not just evolving the product, it's accelerating the rate of evolution itself. And that's where exponential advantage comes from. Now, if everything sounds like it's going perfectly, we need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Because Tesla is not just working on software, it's also attacking one of the biggest bottlenecks in AI, compute. Tesla, along with SpaceX and xAI, is pushing forward a massive AI chip project called Terafab. And now, Intel has officially joined. The goal here is enormous. We're talking about building infrastructure capable of handling 1 terawatt of compute annually. That's on a completely different scale compared to today's AI systems. So why is Tesla doing this? Because in AI, compute is everything. FSD, Robotaxi, humanoid robots, all of it depends on massive amounts of processing power. Without enough compute, none of these systems can scale. So what Tesla is doing right now is removing its own bottleneck, and that's a very different game compared to traditional automakers. This is no longer about cars. This is about controlling the entire AI stack. And then there's one more piece that I think is highly symbolic. In South Korea, a former gas station has been converted into a supercharger station. Now, this might sound like a small local story, but it represents something much bigger. For decades, cars depended on gasoline infrastructure. That was the foundation of mobility. Now, that foundation is being replaced, not in theory, not in projections, but in the real world. Physical infrastructure is changing, and once infrastructure shifts, behavior follows. That's when adoption becomes irreversible. So if we step back and connect all of this, here's what we see. FSD is evolving at the level of decision making. The AI foundation is being rebuilt for speed and scalability. Tesla is investing in its own compute infrastructure, and energy systems are beginning to shift in the real world. All of these are moving in the same direction. But at the same time, there is still a gap. Technology is advancing rapidly, but society, regulation, and public readiness are moving much slower. And this creates tension, because Tesla is no longer limited by what it can build. It's limited by how fast the world can adapt to it. So how should we think about this as investors? Well, this is where opinions start to diverge. If you focus on short-term friction, delays, and regulatory risks, the story looks uncertain. But if you focus on the direction of technology, the trajectory is very clear. Tesla is positioning itself not just as an EV company, but as a core player in the AI-driven future. Now, let's briefly look at the stock. Tesla is currently around $340, and we're not seeing a clear reversal yet. The trend is still weak, and there's a real possibility of further downside in the short term. But this is where mindset matters, because investing in Tesla has never been about perfect timing. It's about conviction. Personally, I think this kind of environment is where a staggered buying approach makes sense, dividing your capital and adding over time rather than trying to catch the exact bottom. At the end of the day, the question is simple. Are you investing in the stock movement or in the future Tesla is building? Because if Tesla succeeds in what it's doing right now, the current price action becomes just noise in the bigger picture. So I'd love to hear your perspective. Are you bullish here or waiting for more confirmation? And if you found this analysis useful, make sure to subscribe. I break down Tesla not just as news, but as a long-term transformation story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Before we wrap up, let me take a moment to introduce myself. I drive a Tesla Model Y, and at home, I've installed a Tesla Powerwall, so I actually charge my car with solar energy. I truly believe Tesla is shaping the future, and that's why I share the latest news and insights here on this channel. I'm from Japan, but I want to connect with Tesla fans all around the world. That's why I also create an English version of my videos. YouTube now lets you switch the audio into your own language, so you can enjoy it in whatever language you prefer. Most of all, I'd love to connect with Tesla fans everywhere so we can support Tesla together. I also share updates on X, so feel free to follow me there and let's connect. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.